Thank you, Aram and Brian. I don't know that I needed that long introduction, but I guess after you've been here a few years, you get long introductions. But anyway, I want to thank them, and I want to thank the President for being here. One ambassador is going to have to push the other ambassador forward, it looks like. But you know, we had said to the President when we were in Artsakh, the Caucus members, that we wanted him, when he came to the United States, to come and do some sort of event with the Caucus. So we're happy that he was able to do that, and I want to thank both the ambassador from Armenia and ambassador, I call him that, I don't know what his official title is, from Artsakh, for setting that up today. I was explaining a few things to the President before I introduce him. I explained to him that whenever we ask him to come, or whenever we do anything with the Armenian Caucus, we never know what's going to go on in this place. And so today is the national walkout with the students from Parkland and others, and that's actually taking place from now, outside and around the country from 10 to 12. So if some of the members don't show, I'm sure they're participating in that. But we never know when we're going to have an event, what's going to go on. But I explained to him that that's something that's very important that's happening as we speak. And I see that Jackie Spear is actually coming in, and I think Adam Schiff looks like he's right behind her. Let me just say a few things. We were very pleased to go with on this exchange with members of Parliament to both Armenia and Artsakh in September. As you know, it was an exchange, and we had the members of the Armenian Parliament come here last week. Jackie Spear was very influential in setting that whole thing up and insisting that we had to go. And some of us also went to visit Artsakh. But I want to say that, when Aram and Brian mentioned this legislation that we've introduced that basically says that the U.S. government must support communications and visits and travel to Artsakh, that was kind of very much on our minds. I mean, that was a consequence, again, of what happened in September, because when we were there in September, we were strongly urged by the administration and by the State Department not to go to Artsakh, which I think is very wrong that they do that, and they continue to do that. So that is one of the reasons why we introduced this bill, to make it clear that travel and communications in Artsakh, even though it's not recognized officially by the U.S. government, is very important. The other thing that is important is that we encourage, newer and younger members of the caucus to go. And so I was very pleased that David Valdeo went one day, that Tulsi Gabbard went with me when we addressed the Parliament, because it's very important that more people travel there, and that more congressmen and members travel there, and that we get involved. The other thing I just wanted to mention briefly, is that the caucus has, once again, in our letter to the appropriators, and Adam Schiff, even though you know him now as the ranking member of the Intelligence Committee, is a very active member of the Appropriations Committee, and specifically the Foreign Operations Subcommittee. We are asking them once again to provide assistance, humanitarian assistance, to Artsakh, which we've had for a number of years now, and also to implement the Royce-Engel measures, which basically seek to provide for more cooperation along the border, so we don't have these incidents that ultimately lead to war. Because we do believe very strongly, as the members of the Armenian Caucus, that the answer is peace. We want to see an independent Artsakh, or at least a referendum on independence or joining Armenia. The whole principle of self-determination of people is very crucial and important to us, and we don't want to see a settlement that's by war. We want it to be through peaceful means, because we believe in the self-determination of the Armenian people, and that can be achieved through peaceful means. So with that, you want me? Okay. With that, I'd like to introduce the President. He's such a great guy. He's always given us honors and medals and things, which I don't know that we deserve, but he keeps doing it. The one thing I have to tell you, and I hope the Armenians from the Republic of Armenia don't get mad when I say this, it is always very evident whenever you talk to any leader in Artsakh, first of all, that they're very strong, And secondly, that they're always funny and they always have a sense of humor. That's true for Armenians as well in the Republic, but I think it's even more true for people from Artsakh. And everybody keeps telling me that the people from Artsakh are really the epitome of Armenians. And so those are the two things I think of the most. Thank you so much.